We do have a lot of information to cover today. So aloha, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning to talk about our 2023 HiSTEP program, or the Hawaii State Trade Expansion Program. My name is Jamie Lum, and I'm with the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. And I'm joined also this morning by with my colleague, Mark Ritchie. And Mark and I both work in the Business Development and Support Division of DBED. And we are the entity that actually administers the HiSTEP program. So just want to also thank Rob Hack, who's with the Hawaii Pacific Export Council, and you'll hear a little bit more from him later this morning, as well as all of our other partners who are all part of the HiSTEP program. But just want to start out and let you know the session is being recorded, so it will be available on both our website, which is invest.hawaii.gov, as well as the Hawaii Pacific Export Council YouTube channel. And we'll also make slides. All the slides that we show will be made available to all of you that are participating this morning. So again, good morning and thank you. So just a little bit about our division, the Business Development and Support Division. We promote industry development and diversification in Hawaii. And the goals of our programs are to support existing and emerging industries, to increase exports of Hawaii products and services, and to expand our participation in the global economy, to assist in growing community-based businesses and organizations, and to build resiliency to fluctuations in our defense industry spending. Now I'll ask Mark to cover the next slide.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. This webinar is primarily about DBED's HiSTEP program, DBED's Export Development Program, but we realize that's not in isolation, and then there's a lot of required wraparound services to help a company be successful in exporting. For instance, if you're going to start an export development program, you probably need to be scaling up production. For that, you might need financing. For that, you might need one-on-one business advising to make sure your sort of income and revenue is going to match what you're able to actually produce. So throughout this webinar, we're going to have our resource partners talk a little bit about some of the wraparound services that they do in support of the HiSTEP program. Back to you, Jamie.
Thank you, Mark. So because the main focus of our webinar today is HiSTEP, we'll start with that. And so the HiSTEP program is administered, as I said, by DBED, and it's made possible through a grant that we received from the Small Business Administration. And so I'd like to introduce Mary Dale, who's with the Hawaii District Office, to just introduce herself and to talk about SBA. Mary. Is Mary there? Okay. Well, we do have a slide up about SBA. So the SBA in Hawaii does is part of the national SBA, and there's background here. They counsel small businesses. They provide they have capital loan programs, and they have contracting services. And a little later on in the program, actually, Mary will talk about a little bit more about their small business loans. But we are very grateful to the SBA for the funding that we receive for the HiSTEP program. So we'll just continue. So our HiSTEP program is comprised of three components which are integrated. We have our export readiness, which is a series of training, webinars, and business advising services. This is where our partners come in and help support us in this area. We have our Hawaii pavilions where DBED, and also we work with the Department of Agriculture. We organize groups of Hawaii companies to to exhibit in major international trade shows. And then the third component is our company assistance, where companies can actually receive direct financial support for their export marketing costs. So I'll go into each of these areas into a little bit more detail, starting with our export readiness. Sorry, we'll talk about the eligibility first. So in order to participate in HiSTEP, a company needs to be able to meet the definition of SBA's definition of an eligible small business concern, which means you have to be in business for no less than a year. You have to meet the standards of being a small business, which most businesses in Hawaii do meet that. You have to have enough resources to be able to support your export goals, and you also have to have a product or a service that is at least 51% value added, and or have U.S. content. In our case, we do look at the Hawaii content of your product. You have to make sure that you are eligible to receive federal funds. You're not barred from receiving federal funds, and you also have to be registered with DCCA as well as the Department of Taxation. So jumping into our export ready. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark, did you have something to add?
Oh, no, that's fine.
Oh, okay. So export readiness is comprised of our training webinars and seminars. I think we are gonna try to do them in person again, or I should say hybrid. We do work with HPEC on this, and in a minute I will have Rob talk a little bit about HPEC. But we do put on a series of these webinars, normally starting in November or December and running through September of the following year. And these would be sessions that deal with export specific topics, such as export financing or logistics or e-commerce or doing an international trade show. And some of them are market specific, like exporting to Japan or exporting to Korea or Canada, Mexico, etc. So we are in the process right now of looking at what topics are going to be offered for the upcoming year. So I just urge you to continue to check our website, which again is invest.hawaii.gov. And if you go under the exporting tab, you'll find all of the information on HiSTEP there. Also part of the export readiness is our one-on-one business consulting that we work with our partners to offer to companies that register. So when you submit a registration form, what we do is we will match you up with one of our partner organizations, and then you'll have at least one opportunity to meet with one of the representatives from the organization to talk a little bit about your company, about your exporting goals, any exporting experience you have already, and kind of look at some of what kind of offerings within HiSTEP you might be able to take advantage of, or maybe some of the other services that that particular organization might be able to offer to you to get you to a point to be able to export. But hopefully after you go through these sessions, the one-on-one advising, and view some of these webinars, then you would be at a point where either you can develop an export plan if you don't have one, or you can fine-tune an export plan that you might already have developed. So I'd like to ask Rob now. We do work with HPEC to put on these webinars, as I mentioned. And so I'd like to ask Rob to talk a little bit about HPEC, and he's also going to talk about the U.S. Commercial Service Office, which is in Hawaii. So Rob.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you, Jamie. My name is Rob Hack, and I'm on the board of directors of the Hawaii Pacific Export Council. That's often shortened to just HPEC. And we are a nonprofit offshoot of the Department of Commerce. All of our board members, of which there are at any given time approximately 30, are appointed and vetted by the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. as having extensive export experience in our careers. And most of the people on our board have 20, 25, 30 more years of experience in exporting products, services, agriculture, what have you. And we have quite a range of board members in terms of experience with legal, finance, logistics, product development, et cetera. So I encourage you to look at our website at hawaiiexportsupport.com. And then Jamie alluded to earlier our YouTube channel, which has an archive of all of these HiSTEP seminars and webinars that we've done over the years, as well as some HPEC programming that's also there. And we're approaching 80 videos, each roughly 90 minutes to 2 hours in length on various subjects. As Jamie had mentioned, it could be very specific in terms of intellectual property when exporting, or something more broad like an explanation of the United States, Mexico, Canada free trade agreement. And so we are working with DBET now to put together our list of webinars that we'll be doing for the 2023 cycle. And please keep an eye on invest.hawaii.gov for a list of those seminars. We do the seminars, but we also do lots of one-on-one mentoring and training sessions with the companies. So I encourage you to reach out to us through DBET, get registered with the HiSTEP program, and then schedule some mentoring sessions with our board members. Jamie, could you go to the next slide, which should be John Holman. So by statute, John Holman is the director of the U.S. Commercial Service in Honolulu. He's the only U.S. Commercial Service employee in Honolulu, and by statute, he's the executive secretary of the Hawaii Pacific Export Council. Here's his contact information. I strongly suggest you get that information and contact John, because he's really your window into hundreds of U.S. commercial service officers throughout the world. They're usually stationed in U.S. embassies and consulates, but they can help you with on-the-ground information. They have a gold key service where they help you find agents or distributors or even customers. And in fact, that gold key service, the cost of that can be offset by some of the HiSTEP funds. So Jamie, next slide, please. John looks at the companies that are successful in exporting are 1 + 2 + 3 here is motivation, the path of least resistance, and great partners. So motivation would mean companies that are interested in exporting and will work hard to do the exporting, because there certainly are some differences in exporting than there are in shipping product across town or to another US state. The path of least resistance is referring to really free trade agreements and places where it's very easy for exporting to take place, such as Canada, Mexico, Singapore, Australia, and places where we have the free trade agreements in place. And then great partners. Many of those great partners are on the call today as panelists for the various resources we have available in Hawaii, including DBET and Foreign Trade Zone and the Patsy Mings Center and SBDC, et cetera. But also great partners are local U.S. commercial service officers, and then your distributors or other people you have working in country in the markets that you're trying to export to. So if you look at all three of these, 1, 2 + 3, you get all of those together, and it's certainly a path to success for exporting. Next slide, please. So as Jamie had mentioned, because there's federal government funds involved, either through SBA to DBET or just using the U.S. Commercial Service, that the U.S. Commercial Service has limitations as to who they can help, and they certainly have to have a U.S. registered business and 51% U.S. content, either by value, dollar value, or volume. And there's a list here at tinyurl.com, export videos, which the Trade Administration has put together, which I think is very useful, short, digestible videos on various topics of exporting. And with that, I'll wrap it up. And I look forward to working with anybody who's attending and helping you export. And Jamie, we should say clearly that exports are to a foreign country and not to California, not to another island, but someplace like Japan, Korea, Germany, Brazil, what have you. And Guam and Saipan, American Samoa, do not count. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Thank you for that clarification for that. Okay, we'll move on. Thank you so much. So the next component I want to talk about is our Hawaii pavilions. So DBED and, as I mentioned, also the Department of Agriculture do select various international trade shows that we think will be beneficial for our Hawaii companies. And what we do is the HiSTEP funds are used to subsidize the majority of the cost for the trade show. And then we invite companies to participate with us. So there is a small participation fee for companies to attend, but normally I would say it would be at about maybe a quarter of the cost of what it would be for the company if they were to go into such a trade show on their own. So we try to make it, what we're trying to do is make it affordable for companies to participate in these large trade shows, and then to also come together under the Hawaii banner and to, promote our the Hawaii brand of these individual products and services as we go into these shows. So here's just an example of some of the shows that we've done. You'll see some pictures there. Here's our calendar for 2023 of what we're looking at doing right now. Starting in February, the Department of Ag will be going to the Gulf Food Show in Dubai. And then we have several other shows that we're doing in Japan, as well as the natural products show that we're doing in Anaheim. These are all trade shows with the exception of the Hankyu Hawaii Fair, which is in, the dates are still being confirmed, but it will probably be end of June into July in Osaka, Japan.
Oh, and Jamie, maybe I could jump in just for Rob's note. We do trade shows in the US, but they have to be international or global trade shows where you have a large contingent of foreign buyers. So we do shows in California, but those are international shows with foreign buyers.
Thank you, Mark. And so, again, our partners from the Department of Ag could not join us today. However, these are the three shows that will be that they will be organizing this year in 2023: the Gulf Food Show, FoodX Japan, which we're working together with them in March, and then the International Food Ingredient and Additives Expo in May. And then they are also doing two other shows: the National Restaurant Association and the Global Produce and Floral Show, which actually is where Yukashi is right now. That show is going on, the 2022 show, and I believe it's in Florida, in Orlando right now. So like I said, we'll be sending out the slides so you will have the information. They have a booth application form on their website and contact information for Sharon, Yukashi, and Anissa, all at Department of Ag. And then the final component of our HiSTEP program is our company assistance. So this is funding that companies can apply for to, again, help support all of their export activities. We issue requests for proposals to procure this particular part of the program. So last year, and we'll continue again for next year, we actually issued two different two different proposals. One is for new to export companies, and one is for market expansion companies. So new to export, I think, is pretty, self-explanatory. It's either a company that has never exported before, or I think SBA's definition is if they haven't exported in 18 months, they would be considered as getting back into, I guess, exporting, so new to export. And then market expansion. So the difference is the levels. And a new to export company might, so you can request up to $5,000. And for a company that maybe for the first time wants to attend a trade show abroad, this would be a good way for them to be able to try that and get into that and be able to try the trade show. So maximum request is 5,000. For a market expansion company, maximum request is 15,000. And also for the market expansion, we do require that companies have at least $200,000 in revenue to apply. And the reason is that we want to make sure that companies have sufficient resources to be able to continue in their exporting pursuits, because exporting, it does take time, it does take resources, and so we want to make sure that companies, it's not just a fly-by-night kind of thing, that they'll be able to keep working at it. So that's why we ask that of the market expansion companies. So we are currently working on the application. Our plan is to have it ready in early November, and then companies will have about 2 months to complete it. So early January 2023 is when the applications would be due, and then we do anticipate that by the end of January 2023 that the decisions will be made. There is an evaluation committee that goes through it. It is a competitive process because we only have so much funding available. So just companies have to keep that in mind. And probably the main focus of the application really is an export plan. So a well defined export plan. It doesn't have to be long, as long as the company is able to define what market they want to get into, what their product is, what is the market like in the particular country that they're going into, what ways are they going to try to get into that market, what avenues, are they using distributors, are they going direct to consumer, etc. And then just to touch upon some of the types of expenses that are allowed to be covered with the HiSTEP funding. E-commerce and digital marketing became very important, especially during the pandemic when there were no trade shows happening in person and travel was very limited. So companies can use funding to start their e-commerce for international business, to translate their website, to be able to build their e-commerce to accept international payments. And then again, digital marketing, establishment of your digital marketing plans, and placing ads on various social media platforms. And then it can be used for some of the more traditional things. Airfare, if you're going to a trade show, or if you're going to go meet with buyers, it can be used for trade show costs. It can be used to ship products to and from trade shows. Rob talked about the Gold Key service that the U.S. Commercial Service offers, which helps companies find partners in the particular country that they want to do business in. There is a fee for that. Can be used for that, to ship sample products, compliance testing, export research. And then the last 3 bullet points here are new types of expenses that SBA is allowing STEP funds to be used for: trade credit insurance premiums. If you're familiar with the Export-Import Bank, that's probably the most widely known as far as what companies use. You can use it to pay for foreign buyer credit reports, and then consultancy services, and that would be beyond what the U.S. Commercial Service already offers. If you're looking for someone with to hire someone with specialized knowledge in a particular country and with a particular product, some funds can be used for that as well, to pay for that type of consultant. What are we looking for in terms of success with the HiSTEP program? What metrics are we looking at? So we want to expand the amount of exports and the dollar value of exports of Hawaii goods and services. We want to see a larger number of Hawaii companies that are actually selling in the global marketplace. And then we want to see a larger penetration of markets for our Hawaii produced goods and services. So I think this is my final slide on HiSTEP. So again, our website is invest.hawaii.gov. And if you go under the exporting tab to HiSTEP, you can find all of the information that I've just gone over. I will note that we are in the process right now of updating everything for 2023. So if you go on there, like we said earlier, we don't have the topics yet for the various training webinars that we'll be doing, but that will be coming up shortly. And then we are updating all of the registration forms, et cetera, and of course, our company assistance application. So none of that is available right now, but it should be in the next, by next week. So Mark was talking about how we work with all of our partner organizations, and that these organizations provide services that really help companies build up to the point where they can export. So going back to this slide of the different business needs, business training programs and one-on-one business advising. So I want to introduce some of our partners. I think we're going to start with the SBDC. And this morning we have Marty Kennedy from the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, West Hawaii. And then we also have Mark Brown, who is with the director of the East Hawaii office. So I will put up that slide, and I don't know, Mark, if you want to go first, and then maybe Marty can follow you.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. So we are a service partner of the certainly the U.S. Small Business Administration, as well as the state, and our funding is provided from via a grant from the SBA that comes to the state of Hawaii, and then it's matched by the state of Hawaii. So there are SBDCs on every island in Hawaii, two different offices on the Big Island. Marty's on the west side and our office on the east side. There's also an SBDC office in every state and every territory in the country. We provide everything from startup assistance, low-cost training and webinars. So if you want to learn something about a particular part of business, there are trainings that are being offered on a monthly basis. The fees are really low for those, and we generally charge just to recoup our costs for running the program. And then we provide no-cost one-on-one advisory services, and really it's all aspects of launching or growing a business. So anything from mission, vision, values to market research, marketing, public relations, networking, how to get finance. So we often help in conjunction with the SBA and local banks. Will help package businesses who are looking to qualify for lending. We'll help you prepare the performas and things that you need to be able to go for a loan. And then additionally, things like helping with the day-to-day management. So really overall business support. With the HiSTEP program, we're happy to do an assessment with you and look for areas that maybe you could grow or learn, and then you're welcome to engage with one-on-one with an advisor after that. And again, those are at no cost to you. Did I miss anything, Marty?
No, sounds good. I wanted to say how much I appreciate our partners. So, because I know like Rob and Mark. Jimmy, we haven't had much correspondence, but anytime I have a question or refer somebody, I just always get great feedback. And I just want to say I appreciate that. We appreciate your referrals too.
Thank you. Well, thank you to SBDC. We do refer a lot of people to you guys, and so we thank you, Mark and Marty, for your work with the companies on the Big Island and helping us with those companies that registered for the HiSTEP program. So thank you very much. Next, I want to introduce Colleen McAlooney, who's with the Mink Center. And Colleen, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Colleen.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. I snuck in a couple extra slides. Thank you for humoring me, Jamie. Appreciate that. So we're the Patsy T. Mink Center for Business and Leadership, Women's Business Center, one of over about 145 across the country, the only one in Hawaii. So we've helped provide 44,000 hours of business and counseling, leadership training, and hosting events since 2013. You can go to the next slide, Jamie. These are the different programs and services that we offer at our center: free business and legal counseling. We have a Launch My E-commerce set of workshops. We have our Horizon strategies for business growth and resilience. We do individual workshops and roundtables to help support small businesses. We have our We by Rising Tide cohort to help medium-sized businesses in women-owned businesses in their growth and access to capital. And then we have the Shop Small Hawaii program that supports all Hawaii small businesses in connecting them with consumers. So we like to, I don't know what my next slide looks like. There we go. Thanks, Jamie. So this is how you can contact us. Our partnership with the HiSTEP program and DBET is greatly appreciated. We appreciate the referrals, as Marty said too, in any of the small businesses wanting support with their exporting program. We usually help support the beginning exporters in specifically strengthening their businesses, so then they could support an exporting program in the future, and maybe the best steps they need to take to get there. So if anybody has any questions or wants to contact us, that's my contact info. Thank you.
Colleen, can I jump in and just make a point though? Your center is to try to empower women in business, but you don't have to be a woman to actually use your services.
Thank you so much, Mark, for reiterating that. Yes, we are a women's business center, but we do help men too, definitely. So we are happy to help any exporting small business, male or female owned.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you to the Mink Center for their support. Next, I would like to introduce Andra from the Veteran Business Outreach Center. So, Andra.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here. I am Andra, and I'm a business advisor with the VBOC, the Veterans Business Outreach Center of the Pacific. And VBOC is a program just like SBDC through the University of Hawaii at Hilo, and funded in part, of course, with the U.S. Small Business Administration. The VBOC of the Pacific actually services all of Hawaii, Guam, and American Samoa, and we also have VBOCs across the United States. Our program mainly provides entrepreneurial development services for active military, transitioning service members, veterans, National Guard and Reserve members, and military spouses who are interested in starting or growing a small business through our 2-day workshop called Boots to Business, as well as offering our 1-day reboot workshop. And additionally, we provide other business training, counseling, one-on-one counseling, resource partner referrals. Thank you if we do get them. And we're here to support DBET and the HiSTEP program. We also have 2 U.S. certified export counselors, which is Lori and Dennis. And we're here, for anyone to tap into us so we can help also with getting export ready and assist with strategic planning.
Thank you, Andra. We appreciate VBOC and all that you do to help us and to support the HiSTEP model. So the next area we want to look at is the financing and small business loans. And so I will have Mary Dale from SBA, and I apologize, I did not see her message to me in the chat when I called on her earlier. She was having problems with her audio. So Mary, I know she doesn't like Zoom, but Mary, you can take it away and talk about the SBA and your loan programs.
Thanks, Jamie. I am so sorry. Zoom is just not my friend. So I'm gonna just kind of quickly go over it, and hopefully somebody covered earlier, just kind of an introduction for the kickoff. But one of our major programs, and I might go out of line with this, and since we're talking about export, our export financing program. So you'll see on here, one of the bullet points is the EWCP program, which is the Export Working Capital Program. So that's for potential exporters who actually have deals in hand. So they need short-term financing to finance maybe an invoice or a deal that they're currently looking at for those that are actively exporting. But we also underline that program with one for startup businesses, meaning they are in business at least a year, but they are looking to do export, and that would be our Export Express program. And that program can be utilized not just for an actual deal that you have currently, but to build your export market. So for instance, if you're looking to get that e-commerce site that Jamie mentioned, and you want to convert that into the language of the country that you're going to be doing business with, you can use that export financing under that program to develop that. You can also use it to attend trade shows that maybe DBED is not involved in overseas that you want to get to, or they just spoke about the Gold Key service. You want to do more than one Gold Key service. So if you're not getting funded, you're only getting funded for one service through the STEP grant, and you want to maybe look at another country, you can use those. So it's mainly a building block for financing to develop your export program, as opposed to financing and deals, but it also can be used for that as well. And then we have our regular domestic loan programs with SBA Express, and that's used, to develop your sales, to grow. It goes up to $500,000 for that particular program. If you want to do that on your domestic side of sales, are also our 7A overarching program that looks at long-term financing, working capital, lines of credit, business acquisition. So if you want to purchase a business or refinance your business, you can use the 7A program. It has a higher dollar amount. The maximum on that would be $5 million. But if you want to have one specifically geared toward purchasing, fixed assets, a business purchase, or either a piece of equipment that has a lifespan of more than 10 years, the 504 may be the program. And that works jointly with one of our SBA lenders, as well as what we call a certified development company that's HeadCo here in Hawaii. So if you're looking, I know I've talked to a lot of companies now, since we're moving towards getting out of the pandemic, that they were having struggles when they were having their lease with their landlords. And now that they're doing a little better in the business, they're looking to buy their own property so they won't have to go through that again. So the 504 is an excellent program for that. If you're interested, you can always give us a call or talk to your local lender. And lastly would be our Community Advantage program. And this loan guarantee program is kind of mission-focused lender. So this means lenders that are actually focused on underserved communities, and that can be underserved as ethnic communities or underserved as far as gender and those areas. But currently in Hawaii, we do not have a community advantage lender. We are in the process of trying to get one locally. If you know a lender that could probably fit that, if they're a CDFI kind of lender and they're looking to, focus in those areas, they might be one that could help out in this area. So anytime you want to look at the link below, you could click there and you can find out about all these programs, but always feel free to give us a call at our local office. And if it's export related to, you can call me directly because I'm SBA's what they call the District International Trade Officer, or ditto. So thanks everybody. I'm glad you guys are here today.
Thanks so much, Mary. Appreciate it. Now I'd like to ask Mark to talk about our seabed loan program.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Jamie. We'd like to just talk about a couple of other programs that DBED has in-house that might be of interest to companies that are getting involved in exporting and scaling up and looking for resources to help do that. So the first one is our community-based economic development program, where we look to do grants, provide technical assistance, but the most important thing is we do loans. And we're particularly interested in helping manufacturers, wholesalers, and then value-added agricultural producers. The thing about these loans is we're looking for sort of an economic development component to it that is creating jobs or increasing in business for local suppliers, helping particular regions of the state that are in need of economic development. Next slide, Jamie. The seabed loan program, we usually do loans of like 50 to 125,000. So these are smaller loans, not quite micro loans, but Mary can do a lot bigger loans with some of the programs she works with. But our interest rate, this is all by statute, is just from 3 to 6%, and we can go up to 10-year terms. We do have co-lending partners, and those include Feed the Hunger Fund, Hawaii Community Redevelopment Corporation, the Waianae Economic Development Council, and then also the State Department of Agriculture. We do loans with all of them. And what are these loans? Should they be used for? Really looking at kind of working capital, construction or improvement of facilities, purchase of equipment, and then payment of sort of production and marketing expenses. Most of our loans are for working capital and equipment. The thing is, we are not competing against banks. So we need one commercial turn down that the potential borrower has received from an actual commercial lending institution. And there's our URL for more information on our seabed loan program. Next slide, Jamie. And we're looking at scaling up operations. And this is one of DBED's attached agencies, which is Innovate Hawaii, which is part of the Hawaii Technology Development Corporation, or HTDC. This we think might be very interesting to some of our HiSTEP companies because the manufacturing assistance program, called the MAP for short, has been funded by the legislature for this next year. And it can provide up to, 20% of the cost of capital equipment used in manufacturing, up to a maximum of $100,000. So let's say you're scaling up and you need some new equipment, or you want to upgrade your equipment. If, let's say, this upgrade is going to cost you $500,000, you could actually get up to $100,000 of that paid for through a grant. So it's a very good program, and it's trying to help keep Hawaii's manufacturers competitive, up to date, and able to scale up when they need to. Next slide. And I think what a lot of this, the application can be is after the fact. It's sort of reimbursable. But if you actually purchased equipment on or after July 1st, 2020, you could be eligible for this cycle. So kind of go back and look if you bought some capital equipment used in manufacturing on this. Next slide. And the application deadline is December 23rd of this year. So you got like about a month and a half, but definitely go to this URL up there, take a look at it, and the applications are already out there. on the Innovate Hawaii HTDC website. And here are some of the other services that HTDC offers. They will do kind of production assistance. They'll do analysis on how to scale up. They do a lot with sort of food safety quality. They give seminars and things, how to adjust to new government regulations for food safety. They have, they're involved in sort of workforce development, kind of quality management systems. And also they've been getting very active in cybersecurity, particularly again, as you scale up, you want your systems to be safe and not hacked. So that's some of the services they offer. They're a great resource partner to the HiSTEP program and to DBED, in particular our division. Next slide. Now we're getting short on time, but I just wanted to quickly go through two things. One are just programs to help you save on taxes and also duties that you might have to pay, particularly as manufacturers, because I think most people on this call are making products. So please note the Enterprise Zone Partnership Program. It's a state-county program designed to reward through tax incentives companies that are creating jobs, particularly if they're creating jobs in kind of economically challenged areas of the state. Most of the participants are in manufacturing, wholesaling, and agricultural production. Retail is not eligible, but I think a lot of people on this call would consider themselves manufacturers. Next slide, please. And so basically the state, we at DBED, we monitor the program and things, but the counties actually nominate the enterprise zones. And if you go to our website, you can sort of see where those zones are. And there's quite a bit of places where manufacturing is done that are enterprise zones. And then the program lasts 7 years, and each year you file with DBED, and we certify that you met the requirements of the program. And that means when you do your taxes, you're going to be getting tax credits. You're going to get unemployment insurance back, and then also you're going to get a GET waiver. And also, if you're doing any construction with the Hawaii licensed contractor, you do not have to pay the GET to that contractor. So for more information, go to this website, take a look at that. The best time to join this program is when you're starting to scale up and you're going to be hiring people. That's when you want to join it, because you can take complete advantage of it. If you don't meet the hiring requirements, like 1 year, you're still in the program, but we want this program to be work for you and help you save on your taxes. Next slide. This is just where the enterprise zones are. You can kind of see Hawaii, Hawaii Island. It's basically all the populated parts of the island. Maui's is pretty extensive, Molokai, and then you can kind of see on Oahu and Kauai where the zones are. And I think I'm going to turn it over to the FTZ, and over to you.
Hi, thanks, Mark. This is Sarumi Hamasu. I'm the trade representative at the Foreign Trade Zone. And this program is a federal program. It's run by the state of Hawaii. And really, it's for exporters who are quite large already, because what you're trying to do is manage duties and tariffs that you would have to pay. If you are part of the FTZ program, you can delay paying duties and tariffs. You can reduce paying duties and tariffs. And if you're exporting items that you've imported, you can completely avoid paying duties and tariffs. And so really, what is a foreign trade zone? It's a designated area. It's secure. It's within the United States, but it's dealt with by Customs and Border Protection as if it were outside of the United States. And so it is one thing it is not. A foreign trade zone is not a free trade zone. Foreign trade zones are highly regulated. They are secure. They're enforced by Customs and Border Protection, but they provide a level playing field for larger manufacturers in the US, because you can bring in foreign goods and you do not have to pay duties on them if you manufacture them and then you export them. So it's one way that the US competes with the rest of the world. Many, many companies, large corporations, pharmaceuticals, car manufacturers, copy manufacturers have foreign trade zones and use foreign trade zones. In Hawaii, we have many small companies using foreign trade zones as in warehouses, like the warehouse we have in Honolulu. On the Big Island, we have a large company that brings in foreign goods, stores it in their own foreign trade zone, and exports without paying any duties. And so when you when you scale up and you find that tariffs are an issue, duties are an issue, talk to any one of the people on this on this panel, and they'll connect you up with us at the Foreign Trade Zone, and we'll help you deal with those duties and taxes. So thank you very much for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much, Surumi, and thank you for all your help and support of the HiSTEP program. So we're actually at the end of our presentations. We want to say mahalo to our resource partners again, and we have all of their logos up there, including our co-lending partners on the Seabed Loan Program. So we have some of, we have those partners listed on here as well. But we do thank our partners. Without them really help support the companies that are interested in exporting, that are signing up for HiSTEP. We just couldn't do it by ourselves, that's for sure. So we thank you so much. Here's the last slide that we have with our contact information. Myself and Mark and Lyle Fujikawa. We have other people within our staff that also work on specific trade shows, but the three of us are sort of the main contacts. And if you are interested in HiSTEP, again, I'll be sending the slideshow out. We actually have a link to the form that you can fill out. But again, you can go to our website, invest.hawaii.gov, to get to the forms and to get more information.